Hello, Mark Larsen here for the Dreamcatcher podcast. Thanks for joining us. Today, my guest is Shelley Parks. Welcome.
Right. Thank you.
So how are you doing, Shelley?
Doing great.
Okay. Well, we didn't meet too long ago. Actually, we were just down the street where we met at this restaurant in Hastings, Nebraska. It's called Odyssey, which is an awesome place. And I know you worked there, but a little bit of background about yourself.
Yeah. So I'm also a registered nurse,
Okay.
and I currently also work at Hastings Convenient Care, which is an urgent care center here in Hastings, Nebraska, and I'm a server at Odyssey Restaurant.
Wow. So, I mean, one of those would be a lot. How many hours do you put in, like, in a week between the two of them?
On average, I probably work about the same as a full-time position.
Okay.
Probably 40 to 45 hours between the two.
Okay. So how did you get into both those jobs that you're doing?
So way back when I was in college, I did serve for a small period of time at a steakhouse here in Hastings because
Oh,
I'm a
really?
Hastings College alum.
Okay.
It was called Taylor's Steakhouse. Under the old
I
viaduct.
do remember that,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. So I was a cocktail server there, cocktail waitress back in the day. And so anyways, I got a little bit burnt out with nursing.
I can
I
understand
was
that.
an ICU charge nurse for a very long time, and
Okay.
ICU is pretty intense.
I bet it is.
Lots of life or death
Can't
situations.
even imagine.
And so I needed a little change of pace, and I had my friends work at Odyssey, and so I just said,
Okay.
hey, do you need anybody? So I started working
And you're
there.
very good at that.
Oh, thank you.
Like I told you before we started this, you were definitely in flow. You were awesome the other night.
Good,
So,
good, thank you.
okay, did you grow up in Hastings, Nebraska? You went to school here, it sounds like.
I got one degree from Hastings College.
Okay,
It's in
awesome school.
English and studio art. English with a
Okay.
writing emphasis in studio art. And I actually am born and raised in Wyoming.
Wyoming is awesome.
Yes.
So you close to like Cheyenne or where?
Yeah, I was born in Casper, Wyoming.
Oh,
But
okay,
I moved to Cheyenne when I was 5.
Nice.
So
Casper's a nice town.
Yeah.
Although it seems like the wind blows are a lot.
the wind blows
Even
in Wyoming
more than here,
incessantly.
maybe.
Yeah, incessantly.
So how did you get from Wyoming to central Nebraska? South?
I looked at colleges.
Oh, the college,
Yeah,
Hastings
yeah.
College?
And back in the day, it was like, you got pamphlets in the mail.
Yep. I understand that, yes.
And
I
you
agree.
picked, oh, that one looks pretty.
Yeah.
Let's check this one out.
And that is an awesome campus.
Yes,
I mean,
absolutely.
I was there the other day at the library, and they's like, you want to do your podcast? Because I went to Kearney.
Yeah.
And they said, come and do your podcast at the library or wherever.
Yeah.
And it was so nice.
Yes.
And it's just, and which the campus is beautiful too. And
Oh.
then what they're building over there right now
Right,
too.
right.
So, so with what you're doing, I always ask on the Dreamcatcher podcast, when you were growing up, what did you think you wanted to be?
When I was a child growing up, I wanted to be a herpetologist.
Okay, I don't think I know what that is.
So a herpetologist is someone who studies reptiles and amphibians.
Ooh, awesome. So did you ever do any of that?
I did not actually study it. Trying to find an actual herpetology program in the United States, they're very limited.
Are
when
they?
offer those?
Okay.
And to be honest, in Wyoming, there's not a lot of reptiles and amphibians, but I did my fair share of catching and went on fishing trips with my dad.
Whoa! Oh my gosh! So what did you catch on the? I mean,
Bull snakes, garter snakes, snapping turtles.
those don't
gator
intimidate
turtles.
you.
No. I never attempted to catch anything venomous.
That is good.
I wouldn't go. I mean, we did corner a lot of prairie rattlesnakes, but
Wow!
that was more of an observation and less of a
I
hands-on.
admire you. I mean, I'm not really afraid of snakes as long as I know where they're at.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of respect. And where my wife and I live over by Minden, we have a lot of them from bull snakes and everything else. And everybody's like, "Aren't you scared?" And it's like, no, they just tell me they look like it's like a human. Get out of my way.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
so have you ever done it? I mean, we were down in New Orleans a couple of years ago, and alligators.
Oh yeah.
And we went on an airboat, out
Yeah.
there, and we found out that they like marshmallows.
Oh.
And yeah, I didn't know either, but they obviously had done that enough because they were looking for their marshmallows.
Sure.
Then we parked, and then the alligator came up on the boat.
Oh.
And it's like, okay, so he's the only one that knows how to run that. What are we gonna do?
Absolutely.
Oh, but yeah, they loved him. But so have you ever handling like an alligator? Like that?
No, not alligators. I've caught tons of lizards.
Okay.
I mean, lots of different snakes, frogs, toads, turtles.
So
The menagerie.
in your free time, which can't be much, so do you do anything pursue on that or anything?
I love to be out in nature,
Me
and
too.
so my folks have a cabin in the mountains in Wyoming.
Oh, nice.
In the oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank here for the national forest they're in. But anyways,
Okay.
there are some wood frogs there, and some boreal forest tree frogs, and garter snakes. And so, like, if I'm out and about and doing those things, I'll always,
Okay.
pick a few up,
I
look
think
at them, take pictures of them,
I
set them
think
back
that's
down, be
cool.
on my way.
Yeah, this past summer we had this kind of trellis, and we had this really like looked like a tree frog, green, and he
Yeah.
was like, and somebody said that was good luck, and it's like I have never seen one of those in
Yeah.
this area,
Yeah.
and he stayed there all day,
Yeah.
and it's like, wow, we do have that stuff in Nebraska.
Yes, we do.
But so, I mean, how would you compare Nebraska to where you're at in Wyoming? I mean,
Flat.
yeah, Nebraska is pretty flat.
Yeah. It's just different. I think regardless, it depends on what you like and what you don't like. Nebraska is different for me because there's like no national parks around here.
True. Yeah, I never thought about that.
And so I always grew up right around mountains and
Mhm.
clear water streams where I could go fishing.
Yep.
And you don't have that here per
Not
se.
really. Mm-mm.
So it's just trying to find a different path or things that you can do here. So I do a
True.
lot of bicycling.
Oh, really? Okay.
I have a foldable kayak, and I go out and
Oh, yeah, I know one of those. I want one of those kayaks. I love kayaking.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because every time my wife and I see those, it's like, I want one of those.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So do you do a lot of kayaking?
I try to. Yeah.
Oh, that is so awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, we just, a few years ago, because I had never done kayaking, and then my wife and I were down in Key West, and we did ocean kayaking.
Yeah.
It took us 12 miles out, and she ended up dumping me, and she'll say
I did that coming in on ocean kayaking.
So,
I understand.
but that was so much fun.
Yeah,
I mean, I got to talk more about that kayak when we get done.
Absolutely.
So what other things do you like to do?
I run.
Okay.
So I've trained for a lot of half marathons, and I just train for them kind of year round.
Okay, cool.
And that's more or less my shtick to actually get off my keister and do something. Is if I sign up for a race, then I feel motivated to.
I understand that. Yeah, there's something about that when you sign up for it. So.
Yeah, when you pay for something,
Yes.
I'm like, my motivation to actually do the training is there.
So how did you train for your half marathon for the first one? Yeah.
So I'll be honest, I have what's called exercise-induced asthma, and I'm basically allergic to everything in the environment. So when I run my half marathons, I have to run with an epinephrine pen and my inhaler, and I have my emergency contact as a physician just because.
Wow.
So most of my training actually is done on a treadmill.
Okay, well, that I can see with what you're dealing with there. I can see that might be safer.
I save all of my meds for race day, and I've never had to use them, but.
Excellent. Wow. So what is there anything they can do to stop that besides be prepared? I mean,
I take lots of just different asthmatic inhalers that tries to kind of like boost down my immune system from overreacting to things. So I've done much better over the last 4 or 5 years.
Good,
It kind of hit the head in COVID, and that's when I finally had allergy testing and realized I was allergic to everything except for molds.
Man, that'd be the one I would think you might be allergic to. That's interesting that you're not to that one.
And in Nebraska, unfortunately, my biggest one is ragweed.
Oh, mine too.
So
that's terrible.
Come in the fall when they're doing harvest, I'm pretty miserable. So.
No. So have you done most of your half marathons around here, or do you go travel?
I want to start traveling to do them. I predominantly have stayed in the Lincoln half marathons.
Okay.
And so I've done the Good Life Halvesy 5 times.
Nice.
And I've done the Lincoln half 7 times.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
You should have your own podcast. You've done so. I mean, when you did your first one, was it like what you thought it was going to be like?
I started training after I had my 3rd child, and I was in terrible shape, and my sister's a marathoner, and I just was like, when do my shins stop hurting? And she's like, it's probably going to take 3 to 4 months, and I'm like, who wants to keep doing this for 3 to 4 months?
It's like a long time,
right? But in general, it takes me on average now about 3 months to just fully train, and I just kind of start back from zero. And at the height of my training, I might be running like 20 to 25 miles per week.
That's a few.
Yeah.
That's definitely.
So.
Wow. I mean, do you have one coming up just like this spring?
I have one the beginning of May, which is the Lincoln half marathon.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I mean, so do you go to the Y? Or do you...
I do not go to the Y. I actually own my own treadmill.
You do?
So
okay. That's cool.
I'm a little bit of a potato TV binge watcher.
That's all right. It's a win-win. You get
stay up to snuff on whatever current one I'm watching and run a little while I'm at it. So.
No, that is so awesome. So, I mean, so with the nursing, I mean, you just said you worked like a 13-hour shift.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. I mean, that's a long time to be on. I mean, are you just, when you're done, you just drop, or are you pumped from all the adrenaline for doing 13 hours?
I feel like with a lot of jobs, I mean, I'm an extrovert by nature, so I draw a lot of my energy from being with people and around people.
Okay.
So when I get home, it does take me a while to decompress
I
from
can
that.
see that.
Now I have two different hats that I wear because when I'm a server, I'm very outgoing, and it's not life or death there.
Yeah, right.
When I'm at the urgent care center, it's a little bit more honed, and I leave my chatter to what's needed for the position.
Tend to business definitely
it's a little
there.
bit different, but yeah, I mean, it just depends on what kind of day it is. When I was in the hospital, those averaged probably more like 15-hour days. So they're a 12-hour shift, but by the time you've charted and gotten all of your things done, oftentimes
that's a long day.
Right. So those shifts, I definitely needed recuperation time from.
Definitely see that.
And now at the urgent care, it's just a different kind of busy. So
I bet it is.
Yeah. It's interesting because you never know what you're going to see.
That I bet too.
We're hardcore into flu season, so we're seeing lots of influenza.
You're seeing a lot of that?
Yeah. So, that's a lot of what comes in, but we do urgent care things too, like lacerations and...
So it is just whatever.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. A lot of people who don't want to go to the ER, can't afford the ER, come into urgent cares.
Can understand
and obviously
that.
we triage there and decide whether or not it's appropriate for our level of care. If somebody comes in with chest pain, most likely we're going to send them to the emergency room.
Yeah.
So
where is that located at here in Hastings?
My urgent care that I work at is on South Burlington. So,
it's on Burlington.
Yeah,
okay.
So just after you go under the railroad tracks in that little Burlington village.
Really, right there.
Yeah.
How many times I've gone by there and didn't realize I was there.
Exactly.
So so what are some dreams that you haven't done that you would still like to do?
Well, I love to travel. So
yes.
I mean, I have a bucket list of places that I want to go to.
Okay.
Australia is big on my list just because of all the creepy crawlies.
That's true. There are a few down there.
So definitely Australia. I've been to a lot of European nations. I've been to England, Ireland, Scotland, Wales, France, Austria, Germany.
Is there one that stands out that you really liked?
I love them all.
Okay.
The food's not as good when you're in the British Isles.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
France has amazing food. I've discovered my liking for European travel is actually bicycling on the Eurovelo trails.
Okay.
So the last few trips that I've taken, I've gone for 5 weeks at a time, and we've bicycled across a good portion of France.
And what a way to see that!
Right.
I mean, that is amazing.
It's very atypical for American travelers.
I suppose.
And so actually, the Europeans like you a little bit more when you're there.
And I can understand that you're kind of taking part. I mean, I've only been to Italy, and I loved Italy.
Yeah.
But I mean, you don't really know a place until you get there.
Yeah.
And but I can see why that. That they would.
It slows down your travel. So it gets you off the beaten path of most places that typical tourists go. One of the longest ones we did was a 400-mile bike trip. And
400 miles?
400 miles. And
wow.
I think we did it over 10 or 11 days.
Okay, that's not so bad then.
Right? So anyways, we did along the Loire River in northern France.
Nice. So how did you get initially set up on doing that?
I have a physician friend that she and her husband have started doing those, and their goal is to do the Eurovelo 6 Trail in its entirety, which is about 2,200 miles.
Whoa.
So when they started going, they're like, you really should come. And then I finally joined them on one of their trips. Actually, I've done 2 of them with them. So altogether, I've done about 600 miles.
That's a few.
In 400 in France and about 200 between Passau, Germany to Vienna, Austria.
Oh, I would love to go right there too.
Right.
So was language ever a barrier over there in the States?
Yes and no. I mean, sadly, Americans are used to people just, facilitating towards our English language. And I'll be honest, I went to a concert in I think it was Linz, Austria.
Okay.
And it was right outside of a cathedral, which was amazing.
Yeah.
I saw that it was going to be there. I, bought tickets that day. Fine, went to it. And I thought it was very intriguing because obviously it was part of the, trying to think if it was the Vienna Orchestra. Anyways,
very nice.
Part of the Vienna Orchestra was there. But anyways, it was opera singers too.
Okay.
And so at one point in time, probably an hour and a half into it, they were starting to speak to the audience. And of course, they were primarily speaking German. And all of a sudden, they just switched into English because they realized there's enough people in the audience.
That they need to do that too?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they pivoted into English. So I was kind of taken aback by that and was actually surprised. And then realized that that's more of the universal language across the world.
Yeah.
Is that other countries countries, they do learn their own primary languages, but they're forced to learn English as well. And most of it is because of, America having been such a big powerhouse globally.
And that makes sense.
So it was just different. I was not expecting that. So, it's kind of nice to not know the language, because I feel like then you tune more into other things in the country besides just listening to people.
Yeah.
And, even in France, the nice thing is you basically just need to be able to read a menu.
You do. And I mean, and it's so good to learn another language.
Right.
It is. And that's why I'm sure when I went to Italy, everybody did English.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, this isn't what I thought it was going to be like at all. So, but like you say, they do. I think I wish we all did Spanish or some other language or languages.
Agreed.
In this country. And there's a lot of things I wish our education did here So do you have any trips lined up now?
I'm doing an Alaskan cruise with my
I've heard that's awesome.
my family this summer.
Okay.
And then my bicycling friends, I've asked them if they have anything planned. Probably not until May of 2027.
Okay.
So, and I don't know, we've looked at a few different trips there. We've looked at along Prague. I'm trying to think.
Okay.
We've done a lot of the river ones. The Loire River actually was pretty hilly. And,
really? Okay.
The Danube was beautiful. We did the Danube from Passau, Germany to Vienna, and that one was pretty flat because you're in the river valley.
Okay.
So, I think the nice thing is they keep everything pretty well situated for those Eurovelo trails, and they're very well designated. So you're not necessarily near traffic a lot until you get into the big cities. Yeah. And that's a little under.
So do you drive when you're over there?
I have driven. When you're in mainland Europe, the cars are situated the same way as they are in the United States. So driver's side's still on the left side and you drive on the right side of the road. It's when you go Great Britain, that's where it switches.
Yeah.
So anything that's a UK colony or a UK state, I guess, lack of a better word, that's when you're going to be on the right side and driving.
Well, we can do in Italy. We weren't driving because those people drive like crazy.
Oh, they're fast.
Oh my gosh. We thought we got out of the airport and then, it's just like, I mean, he was a nice enough guy and he knew English, but oh my gosh, like Cheryl, she said, well, they're polite but aggressive.
Oh, yeah.
And oh my word, it's just like, oh, we're doing trains. We did the trains after that.
Yes. I did drive actually in Italy. I drove through the Ligurian Alps.
Okay. That'd have been cool.
Yeah. And it was insane because we drove from France into basically right off the Mediterranean. So we were in the Ligurian Alps just off of the Mediterranean.
Oh.
And anyways, there's so many tunnels in Italy.
Yes, there are a lot because that surprised me a lot.
Right. So, and I had to drive, I was driving through the mountains because nobody else that I was with liked to drive in those, bridges, everything else. And Mount Blanc, we went in a tunnel under Mount Blanc.
Okay.
And it was 8.2 miles long.
That's a long tunnel.
It was.
Oh, my word. You'd wonder if it's ever going to end.
I think I was like 3 miles in and I was talking to everybody else. I was like, does anybody else notice that we're still going downhill? And they're like, could you please not talk about this?
Wow.
And so they only let a car in, like it's every several minutes. So you're at minimum about a kilometer behind whoever's in front of you.
Okay.
Which makes sense. If there was an accident in the tunnel, they don't want a lot of people in there. So, but it was interesting. So yes, I have driven in Europe, in France, and in Italy.
So does your license from here work over there?
Yes.
It does. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I wondered that because I told Cheryl, it's like, I wonder if it's better for me to drive. And she's like, I don't know if we want to be on the road with the rest of them.
Exactly. Exactly. But yeah, the trains are great there. And
it was excellent. Very reasonable.
Yeah. The European train, I mean, like even with our bicycles, if we needed to hop on with our bikes, they have a place to put your bicycles. Okay. It was amazing. So yeah, I would definitely suggest.
And it was good, except they would torment us. We must look like tourists with accordion music. Oh, they'd come in and be right next to us, and if €2 coin would get them away.
Yes,
but they were good. But it's like enough.
No more accordions. That's funny.
So, is there a lot of difference in the cultures from here in the United States?
Yes, I think so. Yeah, one of the things, since I'm working in a restaurant business, one of the things that I noticed in the European cultures in particular is their restaurants are open for a certain period of time. If you don't get food during that time, you don't get food until they open up for their other business.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, so, like their restaurants might be open from 11 until 2. Okay. And then outside of that, if you go in, it's not like a McDonald's where you can go
You're out of luck then if it's after that.
There's nothing. Okay. I mean, unless you go to like a gas station and there might be coolers of sandwiches and that's okay. So that was one difference. The other big difference is they're just very involved in, I think like just being present. It's for lack of a better word.
Yes, so, I think so.
So mealtime in anywhere in Europe, it seems to be more of a, you know what I want to say? It's like an event almost.
Yeah.
Like any meal there, you're on average going to probably spend, I don't know, minimum of 2 hours. I mean,
Yeah, it is. It's actually, it is an event.
it is an
Yeah.
event. I appreciated that because it just kind of slows
Yeah.
the pace down,
Yes.
and it does make you be a lot more mindful of
Yes.
what you're doing, what you're eating, enjoying what you're doing,
Yeah, you
and not just
truly-
like just eating to inhale and you know
like we do here in the
yeah,
United States.
it's not just nourishment for your
Yeah.
body; it's like nourishment for your soul.
Amen.
So, and even their school systems, they start late in the day, like
Okay.
9 or 10 a.m.
Okay.
and they go later. And so evening meals in most of Europe start around 7, 8
Yeah.
p.m. And
Yep.
it's not unnatural for those restaurants to stay open and still serve until midnight.
Yep.
Which was just befuddling to me.
Yeah.
That was the case.
And we kind of noticed that in Italy because they told us that where we were at in the southern part of Italy that when they closed for their even, they closed for a while.
Yeah.
And they meant it. And we were in Naples, city 3 million.
Yeah.
And it's just like I told Cheryl, it's like they really do. They live more in the moment.
Absolutely.
And there was a lot of sidewalk, and they would come out there, and they's like, we're not open until, or the next day.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just like, kind of reminds me what the United States used to be decades ago.
Yeah.
But they kind of, what's really important, they
Yeah.
really, and I didn't almost want to come back to the United States. And
Yeah.
I mean, it's more, not quite so much fast-paced here in central Nebraska.
Yeah.
But you go
It's
anyplace
just more-
else.
the United States is just a lot more work driven.
Yes.
So even on your vacation, you're expected to check emails and maybe,
Yeah.
Do meetings and whatnot. Thankfully, I've chosen careers where that has not been my case. 'Cause
Yeah.
that is just not.
It's not me either.
Yeah. I just feel like if you're on vacation, you should be on vacation.
Amen.
But yeah, the other interesting thing about the European nation is the whole European Union takes vacation for the month of July.
Oh, really? I did not know that. Okay.
Yeah.
I may have to move over there.
Yeah, right. Which was interesting to me. So like they shut down the schools and families just take their vacations in. So the only things that are really
Awesome.
like shut down are like the main businesses. However, obviously their
The ones,
tourism,
right.
the tourism industry is still booming year round.
Okay,
But
okay.
yeah, but it was very interesting to be there and not.
So do your kids, are they interested in all this too?
I have my oldest son was an exchange student.
Okay. Oh,
He was
wow.
a Rotary exchange student
Okay.
in Germany. So
Okay.
we definitely have taught them the travel bug, which is good. I think
it's excellent.
they're all interested in it.
Yeah.
I think it's important to like kind of get out of the microcosm of where you're from.
Yes.
There's a lot that this world has to offer.
It really does.
And it makes you just see so much more than just what's in front of your face. So
No, I mean, that is so, I mean, okay. Would you ever do a podcast yourself? Yeah, your own?
no, sir.
No. Well, you seem very at ease doing
Well,
this.
thank you. I appreciate it.
But do you speak in front of people for what you do?
So I have a few times. I was the speaker at a YWCA, like the Women of the Year program.
Okay.
I was their keynote speaker, I guess, for lack of a better word. And then in nursing school, I was the president of our our class. And so I did speak at our graduation, which was about in front of 2,000 people.
Is that all? Did that bother you?
I rehearsed it very much, and I basically committed it to memory so that I would not mess up.
I can relate with that one.
Yeah. I think actually the YWCA one was a little bit more difficult for me than my nursing school. And even though it was smaller, it was just more of an emotional speech. It was kind of talking about the different hats that women wear. And I was speaking a lot from the heart of like how hard nursing was on me, that I had to take a step back from it because it kind of took everything out of me emotionally to the point where I was like, I don't know if I want to be a nurse anymore.
That's too bad then. Okay.
But I mean, if you think of the long hours and the stress.
Oh yeah, and they're not appreciated for what you go in.
Yeah.
I have a cousin that was a nurse up in Sioux City, and it's just, for one thing, it takes every ounce to do those kind of shifts.
Yeah, yeah.
No.
Everybody's like, well, you only work 3 days a week if you're full time. And I'm like, but I've put 45, 50 hours in.
Yeah, you get a lot of hours in 3 days.
And I'm like, and then you're just like, it takes a good 2 days to just physiologically like kind of recuperate from that. And then you're just almost dreading having to go back.
I can, get going in that.
Yeah, because you just know it's not, you don't know what to expect. And even though it was like very gratifying, I loved my job. I was really good at being an ICU nurse. I enjoyed all the people.
Yeah.
I just knew emotionally it was taking such a huge toll on me.
I can't even imagine.
I did step away for several years. So me going back to urgent care is kind of the real nursing job I've had pretty much since COVID.
So health insurance and everything, how can we, because right now I don't have health insurance because everything's going on with the, so how do you have an idea how we could fix that? And maybe how do other countries do that? And like over in Europe?
Right. So in Europe, they basically have socialized medicine, where the government runs.
Is that good, you think?
In a way, I think it is good.
Okay.
I mean, it's not anything that you can do fast or quickly. I mean, obviously they treat emergently.
Okay.
I don't know enough about it to speak like I'm fully knowledgeable about it. I do. I get frustrated with the privatized insurance of the United States.
Yeah.
Because that's really, it hurts. It hurts a lot. And I'm with you that I have Affordable Care Act, and I have no clue how much longer I'm going to be able to have it.
They raised mine to $3,600 a month.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I can't do that.
Right. Yeah. Mine was going to go up to either, I think it's $800 or $1,200 a month.
And what is the solution? I mean, it's just like, I don't like not having,
Right.
Because I've never not had it.
Right.
And I don't know what the answer is either, for sure.
It's a double-edged sword. I have had a health savings account before, and that was kind of nice because it can cover, it's like spending accounts, like whatever you put into it, you lose it at the end of the year. Health savings accounts are nice because you can carry over year to year. The hard part is that it takes a while to put any cushion into that to really make a difference. It's not like right away you've got benefits. It's like, oh, well, I only put $200 a month into that, but my bill's $800.
Yeah, no. And I understand that. That's one thing when Cheryl's had her cancer 10 years ago. I mean, we had insurance, but it didn't cover a lot of it.
Yes.
And we had like 6 figures they didn't cover.
Yeah.
And it's like, so we had insurance. Why?
I know.
I mean, it was good. I mean, she's still here.
Yeah.
Because they usually had a 14% chance of living.
Oh.
She had an advanced colon cancer.
Oh, okay.
And no, I have no problem with what you do and the doctors and everything, because they have to be on the other side of dealing with this.
Yeah.
But we have to figure out something in this country that.
Yeah. And I know a lot of people get upset, like healthcare is the one situation where you get a good or a commodity and you don't have to pay for it at the time of service. Like, go into a grocery store and say, hey, I'll pay you in 3 weeks when I get a paycheck.
Yeah.
I mean, like, so some people get upset when they come in and there's copays or, like, hey, you don't have insurance. This is what it's going to be up front. They're like, well, we're not going to do that. And they leave.
Exactly.
But at the same time, like, you think about what you're paying to keep the lights on and the electricity.
Everything that goes behind the scenes.
We sterilize all of our own equipment and we run all of our own labs. So we have to buy all the equipment.
Oh, you do labs. Oh, wow.
Yeah. We do like rapid labs and I'll draw blood, but we'll take it to the hospital to have actual tests ran. But I mean, like just all of those things. And then you're paying for all of your staff to sit there and think of the hourly rates for everybody. And
I would think, the expenses would be.
The expenses are high because you also have to pay people who are competent. So you have to, and we have continuing education. And,
True.
So it's more difficult than what people think. Healthcare is not going to be cheap at any time, any place, anywhere. No. But there definitely needs to be.
Yeah, we need to. I mean, if nothing else, go look at the best in the world and see if we can do something even better than what they're doing.
Yeah. So, it's frustrating because
it is very frustrating.
I'm in healthcare and I'm like you, is that my positions don't offer me. No. I mean, I could if I stayed at Odyssey full time, but I also still want to keep my nursing license. And I don't want to do both. So
I don't know. And I couldn't believe how much they raised it because I'm by myself because my wife just went on Medicare and everything last year.
Yeah.
So it's just like, why am I so high?
It's insane.
Yeah. I don't know. It's interesting times.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Very much.
And I don't have the answers to it.
No, I wish you did. Because I mean, I don't know if anybody really in this country has the answers.
Right.
So okay, running and I mean, like in 5-10 years, where would you like to be?
That's a great question. I think I've been asking myself that a lot more. I'm almost 50, so I think I'm hitting that kind of, I don't know.
It is a way, an age.
Yeah. So I still have a 13-year-old daughter at home with me.
Okay.
So in 5 years, I'll still probably be here because she'll just be graduating. But after she graduates, I've contemplated whether or not I want to stay in Nebraska because I do miss my roots of mountains.
I don't blame you.
The beauty of like Wyoming is it's a frontier state. So Alaska and Wyoming are the only frontier states left in the nation, which just means that there's more landmass than there are people that have filled the place.
Okay, that's what that means. I did not know that. Okay.
So crazily enough, I think Wyoming state population is still under 600,000 for the entire state.
That's not much population.
Right. And so it's a huge land area.
Yeah.
but I just miss, like, when I go home and I'll fish with my dad or I'll go hiking or do all these things. I just miss the wildlife.
I can understand
I've walked out of a restaurant with my dad in the middle of a tiny little town. I think it was Kemmerer, Wyoming.
Okay.
And there was 4 deer standing right by our car, just
That's pretty awesome.
You know, I'm like, it's just not something I see here. Yeah. Like the wild animals in Nebraska are cows.
Yeah, there are a few of those.
Yeah. So I don't know that I'll stay here. I have contemplated if I would go back to Wyoming. I love Oregon State.
I've never been there. Okay.
Yeah. So I know my kids are like, you should go to Colorado, and there's a thing between Wyoming and Coloradoans.
And Colorado is definitely different.
Yeah, and it's a lot more expensive. So I think part of my pull as I get older, I am such a forward-facing people person. That even though I'm extroverted, I do find that I need some wind down time, like just for my own mental health. And so the Wyoming part appeals to me. Yeah. Maybe the politics of Wyoming does not appeal to me, so that's why I'm not sure. Okay. But yeah, so I don't know if I'll stay here or if I'll kind of move back to kind of my mountain outdoorsy roots.
I can understand that. The mountains I love. Do you ski?
Yes, I used to downhill ski and cross country ski. I grew up every weekend going cross country skiing with my dad. I separated my shoulder probably 6-7 years ago.
Pain.
Downhill skiing. And now that I'm a little bit older, I'm like, yeah, that was really hard to get over. So the call to continue downhill skiing is maybe
not quite so calling.
I'm like, maybe I'll just sit by the fireplace, sipping on some cocoa.
I think that sounds like a good plan. Oh my gosh!
And let the kids ski.
No, there's a lot. I mean, you've done your skiing, so
yeah.
So are your kids really? They like outdoors and stuff like that too?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So you see my truck out.
Yeah, I like your truck.
I have a tent on the back of it.
Oh, is that with it? Okay, that's cool.
So I just kind of like being mobile and going wherever, and just being able to. That opens up, and the bottom lays down, and I've got a ladder on it. And
I wondered what that was. Yeah. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and then the back of my truck has a little sealed lockable container, tonneau cover, so that if I want to put I have a foldable kayak, so that fits in there. And I have solar generators.
So you can be you go really fast. Yeah. You're ready. No.
So that's kind of the way I like to go, is just I'm not much of a planner. I've just realized that I am such an in the moment kind of person that sometimes I forget to do all the long-term planning. But this is kind of a nice way to kind of be able to do that, where I'm like, I'll just drive until I'm tired, and then I'll just
I think that's awesome. I love that. So where did you, I've never seen quite something like that. Where did you find that, what you have on the back of your truck there?
So I think my son had first told me about rooftop tents, is what they're called.
Okay.
And so then I just started researching a whole bunch of them. There's a lot of them out there, and there's a couple different leading brands. I picked this one. This one's out of Boulder, Colorado.
Oh, I can see that. Right.
Yeah. And the nice part about it is, like I said, it came with a lot of extras that some of the other ones don't.
That's good.
They have a hefty price tag, and by the time you figure out I'm not paying for hotel rooms, and I can just
and they're not cheap anymore either. Oh my gosh.
Then I'm like, I did a payment program on it for a couple of years, just like you would anything else.
Yeah, anymore.
Now it's mine outright, and like I said, it's just kind of fun because I have a bike rack that I put on the back of my truck, and
So what kind of bike do you have?
I have a couple different ones. I have a road bike and I have a mountain bike. They're both Cannondales. It's just kind of the brand that I like. Some people are Trekkies, some people are Canada. It just kind of depends. Some are salsa. It doesn't matter. But I like the way Cannondales feel for me. So I have a road bike, which is a carbon frame, very lightweight. Does great to go fast and a long time, and you're not worn out. The problem is that it's so lightweight. If it's windy, it's kind of
there's no problem there. Okay.
Then I have just a Cannondale mountain bike, not top of the line, but a little bit more rugged tires. Up at my family cabin, there's bike trails, and so I'll take the mountain bike up there and hit the bike trails.
Oh, awesome!
It's an old rail to trail. It used to be railroad, scenic railroad track.
Yeah, those are really pretty great.
So I'll go up there and hoof out a 22-mile bike ride, or sitting out there.
That sounds good.
9,000 feet elevation.
So you could even have to be in good shape with that level at altitude and stuff.
Yeah.
So because I'd probably be passed out. So
well, even coming from here up to the mountains, I realize I always kind of tell everybody I'm a camel. Like, I don't drink as much water as I probably should, and altitude sickness is real.
Oh, it is.
And so I have figured out the first day or two that I get up there, because I'm not such a great water drinker, that I do suffer a little bit of altitude sickness the first 24 to 48 hours.
Because it's definitely, you feel sick. That's for sure.
Yeah, you get a hellacious headache, and just kind of feel nauseated, and you don't really have much energy. So I need to be better, but it's just like the last thing you want to do when you're driving,
Yes.
450 miles is drink a lot of water.
That's true. So we don't want to stop all the time. Yes.
Exactly.
No.
So, so I like after a day or two is when I finally start going out and doing all my
get acclimated to the elevation.
Yeah,
so.
try to acclimate a little bit and just lie low for a day.
So you said you run. What kind of running shoes do you like? Is there a certain one you like?
Yeah. Right now I'm running in ultras.
Okay.
And I actually they're called Mont Blancs.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
It's a trail shoe, and it's not because I run on trails. It's just my own preference is a little bit grippier for me, but they're a very lightweight shoe.
Nice.
And they treat me. They're a little wider in the toe box.
Okay.
And so the longer you run, I should say, in one given time, your feet swell a little bit. And
yeah,
so
I can see that too.
What happens if you have other shoes that are a little bit more constricting is that your toes might start feeling like they're getting a little pitched.
I could definitely do with that.
I switched to ultras, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago. I started out with just using them as walking shoes, and I was like, I'm going to try these as running shoes.
I could see they'd be good walking shoes too.
Yeah, they are. I think they're some of the best walking shoes out there. So
yeah, good equipment. Everything is good.
Absolutely.
It's worth the cost.
It is.
Yeah.
But I mean, I usually run about 500 miles on each pair before I retire them from running.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's
so I think I've been wearing the same pair now. In May, it'll be my 4th half marathon.
Okay.
So they're getting probably a little worn out.
Yeah,
for that, but
time for some new ones then. So
and they don't look bad. I mean, the bottoms are worn out, but I was like, outside of that, I was like, when I'm treadmill training, they don't look bad.
No, I could see that would work all right. So Shelley, before we end the podcast, anything else you would like to? If somebody with their dreams, what would you tell somebody that's like, I'm too old, I'm too whatever, and I can't do that dream? What would you tell them?
So, I kind of started contemplating this question a few years ago. That a lot of us kind of get stuck in the why we shouldn't do things. Or we just get scared of change.
Yep.
And that's been one thing, being at my age, restarting multiple different jobs, jobs outside of my normal quote unquote, list of skills, like being a server again, starting, 3.5 years ago, is to not be afraid of change.
Yes. Yes.
And I think that's the hardest thing is like, it is difficult. Like starting any new thing is difficult.
It is.
And I feel like people get easily discouraged and they want instant gratification that it's going to feel great and do great right away.
Yep.
And give it 6 months.
Yeah.
I mean, like that's where I've kind of figured out that I was like, I'm going to probably hate this for a while because it's going to feel really uncomfortable.
Yep.
I'm going to be nervous. I'm going to be anxious, but just give it 6 months.
Yep.
And then if you still feel that way after 6 months, still give it another 6 months.
Yeah.
After a year, if it's bad, then fine, you can change. So that's one thing that I would say. But I think my biggest thing is I've realized instead of giving all the reasons why you shouldn't do something, my mantra the last probably 2.5, 3 years has been, why not?
Exactly. Yes.
So that's where I'm at. So, I hope to travel more.
Mm-hmm.
I hope to just go out and do more things and be independent and just kind of do,
I think that's awesome.
That kind of stuff. And whenever I sit back and give all the reasons why I shouldn't do it, and I'm like, well, why not?
Yeah. And that's a good mindset. Why not?
Why not?
Everybody's like, well, why are you doing a podcast? You should be wanting to, look towards retiring. And it's like, I doubt I'll ever retire.
Exactly.
I don't know if my wife could stand me if I did retire. So,
absolutely.
And it's just like, do stuff because that's what you remember in your life. At the end of your life, that's the things you're going to remember. The stuff and you can, if you don't really, you can always find a reason not to do it.
Absolutely.
But life's so much better when you do.
Yeah. That's my point. It's like, instead of like putting money into something else, put money into your savings account, take that trip.
Yes. Amen.
Or, you know what? Credit cards are there for certain things.
Yeah.
I don't like to have debt, but at the same time,
either.
I'm like, it's nice to be able to just go and do something because you'll remember that.
You will.
And those memories, like you said, are probably more important than
they are. And life will always happen. You just gotta keep going even when it's happening.
Exactly.
Yeah, because you do. And that's when Charlotte had cancer. That's when we started doing our mini traveling around this. So, but yeah, just go for it.
Yeah, why not?
Exactly. So, Shelley, thank you for being my guest on Dreamcatcher Podcast. I'm so glad that God crossed our paths down at the Odyssey. And I look forward to keeping in touch and see what's next with you.
Thank you.
On that, enjoy the rest of your day off.
Thank you.
And we'll be talking later.
All right. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.